transmission is a big challenge for California. California not only imports electricity, it imports about 85% of its natural gas. So it's very dependent on outside sources for energy. But in particular for electricity, if I'm a solar energy, a representative of a solar energy company, so that yellow circle I think outlines a prime area where the so-called solar insolation, the sunlight is great. It's sunny, it's predictable, you don't have to worry about cloud cover and those sort of things. It's an ideal place, there's a lot of land, it's flat, it's perfect. There's actually an existing transmission line from Phoenix to Los Angeles, which the Southern California Edison Company proposed building a second transmission line. One would think that might be the easiest place to try and build a second line to add needed capacity. And indeed, California did approve the project after 2 years of environmental review, after 2 years of regulatory review. It would take a couple of years actually to build it. But Arizona, since a portion of the project is based in Arizona, Arizona denied the permit for the simple reason that they did not want inexpensive energy exported to California. In my opinion, not consistent with the Interstate Commerce Clause. But they have that ability to block a transmission project if they believe it's in their self-interest, and have done so. So to me, that illustrates how even where it seems to be a no-brainer, that you've got a renewable resource, you have an existing transmission corridor, you have a utility mobilized that's gone through the permitting process, you have California regulators on board, not so fast. Arizona said no, and they're in litigation now in several courts. So that, to me, is something that California and our surrounding states really need to think hard about to see if we can have more regional coordination as to whether or not a renewable portfolio standard is something that all of us can work together on instead of fighting with each other.
Okay, John, and then Jeffrey, obstacles.
Yeah, I think one of the things we need to do is we need to make sure that we have a integrated portfolio approach. I think so much of the development in many of these areas of innovation are haphazard. So if you take what you're talking about, government, for instance, there is no thoughtful tax policy as how do we create incentives to move this process along further. Right, we have isolated policies such as if you develop solar at an individual residence or commercially, right, the Prop 13 doesn't apply for the, in terms of new construction. However, when it's sold, it later applies. Then you have, if you take the three legs of the tax stool, right, it's property taxes, it's transactional taxes, principally the sales tax, and personal income taxes, so that we haven't meddled those and applied it to the commercial sector here in California to see what we can do to create incentives for the industry to stay here and further develop its prosperity.